You had a hand in making these. I love you. Look, y'all, we back. You know what I'm saying? No reactions today. No reactions today. Just a review. No, we got EARTHGANG.
Most likely to succeed. Most likely to smoke weed.
An Atlanta-based hip-hop group that I got onto about 2019, I would say. You know, don't lie. You know, y'all got onto them in 2019 too. It might be a few of y'all that didn't, but you know, my first impression of EARTHGANG was on Mirrorland. That project to me was a good showing for new artists that I'm just now getting a hold of. Like, I didn't even know who these dudes were. Like, I ain't know shit about them. This project showed me this style of being able to mix noisy and obnoxious sounds along with, you know, also creating an energy where it's mellow and vibey. You know, that's kind of hard to do, and them being able to, you know, cultivate that, it's kind of cool to me. I ain't gonna lie. Swivel, This Side, Avenue. You know, them three was in a row, you know, on this project. And, you know, but those are my favorite tracks. To me, they still have a little bit of room for improvement as far as being able to structure songs, being able to find their sound. Because honestly, I feel like they still haven't found their sound yet. You know, even though I've only heard Mirrorland and Revenge of the Dreamers. This project just really showed to me how versatile they really can be once they push to those limits. You know, songs like Down Bad, songs like 1993, you know, songs that we didn't get on Mirrorland. So I'm actually glad Cole and Dreamville was able to push EARTHGANG in a position where, you know, they're comfortable. You know, don't be afraid to try new sounds, because it seems like that's who they are. I think this Revenge of the Dreamers project played a real big influence in how this next project would sound for these two. So, you know, that's why I was really glad that they were able to experience those sounds on that compilation project first. Which brings us to why y'all here. I know y'all not here for me to talk about their past shit. You know, y'all want to hear what's going on now. To be honest, I would say I really didn't have any expectations for this project, because I'm not a guy that's going to act like I listen to EARTHGANG every day, you know, that I'm following their career, this and that. No. I just want to hear good music. And based on their last few projects, you know, Revenge of the Dreamers and Mirrorland, you know, I was just expecting to hear a step up from that. Honestly, when I seen the runtime for this project, I wasn't worried or happy. To be honest, I wasn't either or, because, you know, going into this project, like I said, I had no expectations. So, you know, I was really just trying to see where they were going to go with it. I had an idea what the album was going to be about, but that's just me formulating my own hypothesis before I even go into it. I seen a kid on the cover with glowy eyes, you know, ghetto gods. You know, I'm expecting they referring to themselves as, you know, ghetto gods. You know what I mean? I'm expecting some flexing on here. Not flexing in the fact where you got to flex your materialistic things and your jewels. But let's be proud about this shit that we should be proud about. This shit that internally makes us, you know, who we are. You know, the fact that we are able to feed our families, the fact that we able to say we made it out the ghetto, the fact that we can slap a teacher in their face when I slap her. But my point is being able to look back and say, damn, you know, I really did something. You know, I really made it out. I'm at a place where a lot of people where I'm from don't get to. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's already where the album cover and the title put me. I'm always a little worried when the albums start off as skits, because this is actually means something. That this need to be here. The 2 Chainz voice need to be the first voice that we heard on this motherfucker. And I will say 2 Chainz Atlanta flavored motivation definitely played a part in this project. You know, I liked it when I listened to it the second and third time. He talks about how you're an adolescent in the ghetto, and, you know, you get told these things, you're not gonna be shit from whoever, you know, your teacher, you know, your parents, you know, it can be from anybody. You know, it's just that toxic energy you get put on you as a child. And at the start of this project, 2 Chainz is the person that lifts you up. You know, he's the one that's telling you, you are gonna be shit. You know, don't let this person tell you this. Don't let this person tell you that. We get this shit out the mud for real. You know, for real. I actually like it as an opener because 2 Chainz is a legend over there in the South. And, you know, them being the Southern acts, you know, I thought it was only right for him to put a Big Rube or a 2 Chainz or, you know, anybody that's a legend from the South, a T.I., you know, anybody that can speak those wise words, you know, to the youth or, you know, whoever's listening to this project. Then all of a sudden on track 2, the energy just changes. A triumphant beat. That's what we get. Like, it sounds like an intro. And I'm kind of mad because now this makes me feel like we didn't need 2 Chainz. Johnny Venus already starts off the album, you know, not with braggadocious bars, but with, you know, just confident bars. Hate to sound conceited, but I know. On this track, they refer to God as a woman and is basically, you know, thanking her for this incredible flow that she's gifted them with. In a very catchy and brief hook, I might add. Explaining to whoever is listening to this project that we are the gods of the ghetto. On the first track, nothing crazy lyrically, but I did like when Dot said, you know, this nigga said, I don't give a fuck what you think of me. Duck, jab, hook. Sending a nigga through the roof with an uppercut. Good opening track to me. It actually feels like an intro. Then we get to the third track, Billy, you know, where they say, You know, they're not comfortable with millions. You know, they need a Billy. 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 Like, that hook was so annoying. Like I ain't like that hook at all. Like, As soon as the beat came on with that pew, 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 I know it wasn't for me. I know it wasn't for me, man. Like, don't kill me. I know it wasn't for me, though. It sounded like a fire truck going on. And I don't like the sound of fire trucks or any siren. Venus expresses how he never had shit growing up in Atlanta and is insisting that he needs a Billy because of where he came from and what he had to go through with not being a not so rich individual. I'm like, all right, okay, it sounds fair. I need a Billy too then. It was no verse from Dot on this track. I'm not sure if I missed it or, you know, he was just on the chorus or because I didn't hear him. On this track, we get an appearance from the Reverend. I know he calls himself a god, but I'm not calling you a god, Future. The Reverend, which automatically slows the sound down with this very smooth beat switch. It has this like cloudy instrumental with heavy keys. It just, Future goes on about how he can get you hit because he got money, you know, in a very nonchalant way. I feel like we've been getting a little bit too much of those lines from Future though. You know, I'm gonna get you hit because I got this. Come on, man. You like 40. You shouldn't be out here hitting anybody. But sometimes Future's flow makes up for it. And I feel like this is one of those occasions where, you know, his flow makes up for what he's saying. You know what I mean? So I'm not really mad at it. Solid performance, Future. Solid performance. Counting money and smoking a blunt while I'm getting hit. Like Future, come on. Bruh. Come on, man. I know you got more stories than that. To be honest, I feel like the second beat should have been the whole song because I do like EARTHGANG on that kind of instrumental better. You know, they just let Future get on it, which is cool. But, you know, it was an okay track. I didn't like the Billy, you know, shit that was in there. But, you know, it was cool. Wavy Boys featuring Jid and J. Cole. Everybody ate. I'm going to just start with that. The structure of this song is great. You know, the way the beat just sounds like, you know, you bouncing a ball. You know when the balls used to play with at recess? That's what the beat sounds like. Boing, boing. Venus on the first verse talks about his come up from the ghetto again. You know, hence the name Ghetto Gods. Talks about his struggles of staying away from the police, which is why, you know, he hints to all the police vehicles he's been in. I actually like how he did that too, by the way. That shit was hard. That was clever because a lot of niggas ain't gonna get that. You know, they ain't been in the Crown Vic. He also throws Meek's name in there. You know, I was fucked up so bad. You know, I was like Cornrow Meek. Y'all know what it was, Meek. In Jay's verse, he takes sort of a different perspective on how things are going. You know, he inserts his homie, you know, which is still in the streets. He's trying to steer his homie in the right direction, but, you know, he's not really hearing him. You know, we know how that go. But Jay comes up what he thinks is a solution, which is, you know, bring your homie day to day with you, you know, get him this, get him that, you know, get him out the slums. But then reels us all back in and just says, Hollywood is the devil in itself, so what are you really escaping? He uses these specific things as the devil, you know, conditional love, fake people, robbing, you know, all this shit goes on everywhere. So what are you really escaping? That's why I had to look at this verse and be like, damn, this really is a great verse because he was able to tie in a whole story in just one verse. You know, he didn't need a whole song. And you got a problem and you got a solution. Well, not really a solution, but, you know, the closest thing to a solution. He's teaching you. Dot comes through with this signature Atlanta flow, which I love. I love when he does this flow. A real solid verse he put together talking about how he waterboyed his way through the fucking industry. You know what I'm saying? He hustled his way through the industry. That's kind of a clever way to put that. He says things in here that I can relate to. You know, I'd rather make moves than make announcements. If I see an opportunity, I'm going to pounce on it. Cole is just staying true to this whole feature run narrative that, you know, I feel like the people are pushing, but I feel like he's going along with, you know, he switched up the energy completely. He just switched it up. It seemed like Cole wanted to go on the opposite side of the spectrum as far as talking about how rich he is. These niggas look rich, but they broke. Got me playing poor. I don't think it get no more disrespectful than that. Like, can it get any more disrespectful than that? Like he said he's playing poor. More braggadocious bars about how he hasn't even posted his tour yet, but it's already sold. I feel like Cole is putting us on notice in this verse, you know, basically saying he's not even close to being done. He's saying the off season is over, which, you know, as far as, you know, his project being called the off season and, you know, also it being, you know, I'm not on off season anymore. I'm in here. I'm in the game now. You feel me? It's time to play. It's capital B on my car season. I'm taking that as, hey, I'm done being humble. I'm going to tell y'all niggas what's really going on. This is just a personal opinion. Well, this whole thing is a personal opinion, but I feel like Cole is in a place where, you know, he feels more comfortable popping shit now because all his contemporaries are as well. You know, Drake popping shit, Kendrick popping shit, and he barely popped out. He once again talks about, you know, how much money he has and you're going to need somebody good at math to count it. You know what I'm saying? The same thing he said on Benny's track. Great transition into the next track. Amen featuring Music Soul Child is the most polite way of saying, shawty, get on your knees. Just suck my dick. That's what that is. Just saying get down on your knees for me over this heavenly beat with some soft 808s. That's how that comes off to me. You know, it doesn't matter how you say it. I didn't really like the 808s that were I didn't really like the 808s that were added over this heavenly instrumental, but you know, it didn't really ruin the track for me. This Venus bar almost did though. I'ma rock more boats than Aaliyah. Nah, that ain't it. But Dot, on the other hand, his verse touched me. It really did. All these hoes really for the streets. I'm a dog, but it ain't much I can say. It's a whole lot you can say in that situation, but I'm with you, Doc. I do think they could have went a little bit deeper as far as the concept of this song, but you know, I mean, it was really the hook that really kind of threw me off the whole track. I just thought it was a little bit lazy and lackluster. Music Soul Child's performance wasn't even really that impactful for me, honestly. It just seemed a little lazy from him as well. You know, the last time I heard Music Soul Child on anything was, I think it was on Kalani's, one of Kalani's projects on the song Footsteps, you know, which I feel like he had more of, you know, an input of what was going on in that track. Here, it just seemed like he was just something to add on. You know what I mean? They sent him the song and was like, yo, just put something on this, which I think is very disrespectful to Music Soul Child. If y'all was in the studio, I stand corrected. Not necessarily a bad track though. It was still, you know, pretty much a good track. Then we go over to All Eyes on Me, which I thought Justin did his thing on this beat. It's so soft, but also so hard hitting at the same time, which I think EARTHGANG, that's that good medium for EARTHGANG, you know, hard hitting, but still soft, you know what I mean? Being able to blend those two modes together. First, I love the concept of the record, you know, All Eyes on Me. You know, you've worked your way into a position where, you know, all eyes are on you. From your supporters to your family, you know, to the Lord above, you know, all eyes on you. Once you get in that position, everybody's looking to you to make something of yourself and for them. You know, that for them part is the struggle. And I feel like the reason people feel like that is because, you know, you are the closest thing that they have seen to success. You're the closest thing they've seen to stardom. And this track, Venus hits us with a, you know, a very powerful line, in my opinion. You know, if you got $20, put your hands up. You know, we all know about the George Floyd situation. Oh, it was all over fucking $20. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, that shit still make me mad. And R.I.P. George Floyd, man. To me, on this track, Dot just shows me again of how he's able to mix pain and comfort in one verse, and it still comes off heartfelt and authentic. When he says the world is crazy, niggas ducking when you sneeze. And to me, that's great imagery and great writing right there, where you're able to mix so many elements of perspective in just one line. You know what I mean? That line is powerful. At this point in the album, it seems like Venus is taking more of the point when it comes to starting the records or, you know, jumping on the hooks. You know, at this point, that's what I'm getting. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn, I wonder why Dot isn't on the choruses that much. Because on Maryland, he was on some choruses for sure. But I can just tell by the way they make their music that they're comfortable in the spaces they're in. You know, I feel like Dot is comfortable with Venus taking lead on a lot of the hooks because they come off pretty good, you know, most of them. And then Dot is able to come in with these powerful verses on the back end of the records, which, you know, it's a very unorthodox way of doing things. Song 8, Lie to Me. Song 8, Lie to Me. Song 8, Lie to Me. I fell out when I heard this song because it don't get no realer than this. You know, you can't find a realer record than this. You could, but you know what I mean. I just love how now it's more evident than ever that rappers are calling out rappers on they shit. I'm not even gonna say artists calling out artists because I'm gonna just say rappers because we need to deal with this right here first. Calling them out for flexing and lying, whether it's on your records or it's through your image. Stop that, please. We all know that's kind of a double-edged sword though when it comes to artistry because, you know, you can always fabricate some shit, but when you completely lying, where it's like the world is believing you're this person, that's not fabrication. That's straight up lying. In this track, I picture EARTHGANG just sitting all the rappers down and giving them an intervention, you know, basically just on that. Stop it. To me, this is Venus's best verse on this project. Venus expresses that he sees a lot of women out here with the Birkin, but they still paying rent monthly. Oh no, he ain't stopping there. He coming for us too. He coming for the men too. That weekend you got the money to spend that Birkin, but when Monday come around, you know, you ain't got no money for no coffee. Venus takes his time to talk to women who, you know, hide behind the makeup and hide behind all the enhancements that they getting now. He says that when you're fake for so long, you forget who you really are. And, you know, I somewhat agree with that. And then Dot comes in and backs him up on another point, you know, talking about what people are willing to risk to have people to look at them in a certain light. You know what I mean? To have people look at them as a person that they're not even close to being. These niggas willing to risk their last to put a girl in first class, you know, just so she don't see that you ain't got it like that and she end up in coach. Shorty, you can ride in coach. What's wrong with coach? You still getting here, right? I really like that joy. Jean's interlude, just a woman popping shit about, how all of her friends got shit. How all of her friends are successful. How all of her friends got this and got that. Which honestly, to me, I like that. I like when I heard this shit because, that's the ultimate goal when you play this game of life. We all know you start off playing this game by yourself. You start off playing by yourself, but once you bring other pieces on the board with you, like I feel like that's my ultimate goal. I don't know about nobody else's, but that's my ultimate goal is to have everybody eat, everybody's fed. Nobody has to ask nobody for anything because everybody has their own. Black Pearls, this song was the most interesting to me because this is a topic where, it's not a popular opinion to go against or combat. They're expressing the fact that it seems like black women don't get the respect they deserve of just being a good artist. You gotta have a fat ass, you gotta have a slim waist, you gotta have a pretty face. You need all these things that, aren't really even intangible to your talent. Having a fat ass don't make your bars better. Having a fat ass don't make you perform better. It might make you look a little bit better in the performance. That's not me saying that. It's just the fact that it takes more for, not even just black women, but black men to get on, just off sheer talent. It got to be some bullshit attached to you on the male side as well. You got to did this, you got to have did that, you got to have shot this person. And on the other side of the spectrum, they just talking to the females, which I actually like, naming it Black Pearls, saying that, black women, y'all are the pearls. Like we love y'all. We love y'all the way y'all are, but the thing is the industry isn't going to take that, because the industry isn't filled with us. It's filled with suits and dickheads. It's basically a mannequin and it's like, yo, you have to look like this in order to be at this level, and it didn't used to be like that. And this is where you actually have to listen to music because the instrumental, I didn't really like the instrumental that much, but the lyrical content in this, I love. It's so juicy and filled with, it just filled with gems. And the lyrical content in this track is the reason why I don't like the instrumental because it doesn't seem like it goes with the content. It's a heavy based 808 beat. You know what I mean? Heavy. You know what I mean? And I want a little bit more softer side. And when I'm going into a track like this, listening to this, I want it to be more smooth to listen to. You know what I mean? I wanted to be more as far as, the content flowing with the instrumental, the vibe, I just feel like the vibe of this song was a little knocked off kilter because of the instrumental. This is the second time I'm hearing the Baby Tate. The first time I heard it was on Jiz's single that he just released, Surround Sound. That's the first time and she didn't really even do much on that track. So this is the only time I've really gotten a full example of what Baby Tate is here to offer. If I take a shot in the club, put a shot in my butt, maybe they give me a shot. I love that line. Neezy's walk or Nezzy's walk. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm sorry. I don't even mess up your name. I don't want to. I had to listen to this interlude like 8 times just to grasp the concept that she was trying to put forth. Because I like when things aren't in plain view. I like the poetic way of things where you hide things in words, and you have to be able to imagine these things. She starts off this beautiful poem talking about how the hardest thing about being a black woman is, when you're in a dark externally or internally, you have to be your own strength. You have to be your own light because nobody's going to be there to stand up for you in these situations or the way they feel like this should be stood up for. She's basically saying that nobody's going to stand up for you the way you are. In that, they look at the black woman as being wrong. They look at her as being wrong because, society feels like, somebody else should be able to or have to speak up for you. You shouldn't be able to speak up for yourself. Insert male, which I always thought was a dumbass concept, but let's move on. She gets deep. She talks about how the 3 little pigs wasn't the example of how colonization was going to happen. But we as black people are the wolves of this story. Remember the wolf that used to blow their house down? She's basically explaining how we use the wind to our advantage to, blow their shit down. You know what I mean? Y'all can keep building it, keep building it, keep building it. We're going to get the same result. We're going to blow that shit down. I actually thought this was the greatest piece on this album as far as skits goes. American Horror Story was like the only song that we got 2 lengthy verses from this duo. The first people on earth thrived, and one day I shipped Doc with evil intentions. Y'all know y'all came here with evil intentions. Y'all know we was here first. Y'all know he was here first. Venus expresses that he's the first person in his family with money. On this track, he does a great job of writing his way through luxury and pain altogether. He states that he's smart enough to acknowledge the fact that, black people have all this money, but Flint still don't have good water. But in the same verse, he talks about, I still go drop a bag at Lennox. He states the fact that he's aware that his priorities may be a little out of whack, but just the fact that he knows it is a great starting point. I've been trying to stay away from this comparison. I promise you, I've been trying, bro. Dot's verse was good, but his influences is just dripping off the side of his shoulder on this verse right here. He sound just like Chance. The flow, all he needed was a ah. I think that's how you do it. Ah, that's the only thing I'm gonna say. Dot, just lay back off the Chance flow, man. You already sound like him a little bit. You know what I mean? Don't add the flow too. Some of you niggas so woke, it's ironic. You really be ignorant because of your knowledge. It's funny that throughout this album, Dot is saying that he doesn't like being a preacher. He doesn't like preaching to the youth or preaching to whoever's listening. But I honestly think Dot is doing the complete opposite of that, because preaching is it's always some sort of agenda when it comes to preaching. Being a preacher is more based on what you've been taught, whereas Dot is speaking from a place where, you know, it's not what he's been taught, it's more of what he's seen, what he's been through, you know, giving you a more first person perspective on what to do. Dot is being a person where he's taking you through these experiences that he's had throughout his life, and he's putting it on record. You know what I mean? Being a preacher, you know, if God told you this, you gonna tell me that. I love the production on this too. A good medium in between, you know, soft and hard hitting funk. Power. I'm gonna be honest, when I saw Nick Cannon name, I was scared as shit. Song starts off with Dot and Venus going back and forth over these soft keys and light 808s. And then CeeLo comes in with the beautiful vocals. You know, it really doesn't sound like CeeLo's trying too much, but it's CeeLo. You know what I mean? Like, a lackluster hook from CeeLo sounds great. I'm glad that B switched, because Venus was losing me at the end of his verse, you know what I mean, with that flow he was doing. I was not with that. Dot talks about how from a young age he was praising the street life and, you know, having a conversation with, you know, the angel and the devil on the shoulder about how he's going to get this money. Then down the line, he ventures off to say, fuck CEOs, you know, with the Nick Cannon line. Which, when I first heard it, I was like, come on now. No, we are not doing that. We went through this whole album without any corny bars. Then he said it again. Long story short, I've come to appreciate that line very much. Nick Cannon comes on with a speaking piece talking about, oh, I just named my daughter Powerful. That's crazy. You know, they thought I was crazy for that. I don't care. I don't care, Nick Cannon. Like, I'm sorry, but that speaking piece from Nick Cannon, I didn't care about. It just felt like it was there. I was like, man, did they really call Nick Cannon just because they said the Nick Cannon line? Is that the only reason they called him? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. He ain't that important. CeeLo just kills his verse. Like, and I gotta stare deep into the camera when I say that. The motherfuckers that will kill you will be front row at your funeral. Great song, great song. Nick Cannon's piece didn't mess it up for me, but it almost did. Yeah, almost got me. We got another skit, Zaza, which, you know, I appreciate it. DC Young Fly showed up again, and the only reason I appreciate this skit is because I smoke weed. You know, I don't know about people that don't, but that's all I'm gonna say. Smoke Something is probably the most relatable track on here for me, and I feel like I got a problem by saying that. I feel like I get too high. But you can't beat a spacey, blunt-worthy instrumental. Like, you just can't. Venus said, you know, when I close my eyes, I picture my people dying. You know, on a serious note, I feel like that line really hit me because, you know, I go through that on a daily basis, you know, and, you know, a lot of people out there that go through the same thing, you know, definitely gonna understand. I was already high and smoking when the chorus came on, so you know I felt that shit. This is the type of song where it's hard to get off nowadays as far as, you know, being a vibey track, because it's been too many instances where, you know, an artist will try to get this track off and it just leaves like a boring, bad taste in my mouth. It's like maybe the track shouldn't have been there. Maybe the track shouldn't have been made. You sound lazy as fuck. You know, it's really no energy. But, you know, I feel like EARTHGANG is a group where they're able to get off this kind of a shit right here, you know, and also able to give you, you know, a top down, you know what I mean, off their last Maryland project. You know, they can give you, you know, a good balance between both worlds. Really not much to say about that track, but I like it. I like it. Definitely a vibe. Track 16, Strong Friend, was more of one of the longer cuts on this project. I feel like a lot of this record up to this point was, you know, a lot of short verses and catchy hooks. The basis of this record is strong friends. Basically, that's it. Strong friends. And they exhibit that in this hook, which I'm not really a fan of. I just feel like they could have wrote a better hook than this. It just feel like it came out of a beginner's composition handbook. To really sum up Dot's verse is really just a letter to all his friends, or a letter to anybody that has close friends, you know, just to be there. Keep it solid. Keep it trill. Keep it real. Don't be afraid to express yourself, especially to your friends, because we all go through shit, you know, and I really felt that. I really felt that because, you know, I have my fair share of not sharing and, you know, giving out things that I probably shouldn't keep in. I probably shouldn't keep these things in, but, you know, you scared of what somebody's going to say, or, you know, you think somebody's going to judge you, or, you know, you feel like it's going to change your relationship with that person. Nah, go ahead and tell them. Go ahead and tell them, man. Like I said, I ain't perfect. I go through the same shit. So, but that will be my advice to anybody out there that, you know, that feels like they're keeping too much bottled in. You know what I mean? Because that's a sickness in itself. you know, and I've definitely been through that. Probably still going through it a little bit now. And that right there brings me right to Venus's verse where he talks about, you know, a friend that he had to try so hard to keep up her image, try to keep up this perfect image for these people that really don't even care about you. Venus also feels guilty about not going to visit his friend in prison when he felt that he should. You know, in the moment he felt like he should have called him or went to go visit him or whatever. But, you know, when you look back on it, you know, it's a regret that he has. He expresses to his friend that he's sorry for not calling him while he was in that situation. You know, it's just things like that, little things like that, you know, people need love, you know what I mean? And, you know, we might not look at it at the time because we all going through our own shit. But, you know, when you have friends, you know, that's what they're there for. You know what I mean? To be able to carry you through these situations, have somebody to confide in, you know what I mean? That's real friends. You know, if you don't have them people around you, you need to get some new ones. Which brings us to the outro track. You know how I feel about my outro, yeah? Not gonna lie, that's the first time I ever tried that accent, and it actually came off alright. To me. Beautiful Midwest sounding instrumental. And when I say that, I mean something that Smino would rap over. You know, something that Sabo would rap over. This is that kind of beat that I love, man. I can't get enough of Ari Lennox's voice sometimes. I love R&B, and she's one of the people I love. Where's the album at? That starts off this poetic verse talking about, you know, how he's one of the lucky ones to be out of the previous situation that he was in. You know, because a lot of people don't make it out of those situations. So when I look back at this, it's probably gonna look like I'm only putting out the whack bars they put out. I don't say whack, so I don't know why I said that, but it doesn't seem like it's too many specific bars in this album that you can really dissect, and that's really like eye grabbing or, you know, ear grabbing. You know, I listened to this project about 5 to 6 times, and, you know, the hard hitting bars are the ones that come off a little, you know, yeah. I don't remember the specific line, but he said something like, I had to make it shake like root beer. Like, come on, man. Ari Lennox. I'm going to just call you Ari. I'm sorry. I'm calling you Ari. Ari just comes through with this beautiful hook, man, asking the question, you know, who can I open up to? And before I can get a word in, Venus already answers that question for her. But a strong verse, it just seems like he's talking to a therapist. It just seems like he's talking about all the things that he's tired of, all the things that he hates, all the things that he doesn't like. You know, he's expressing that on this record right here. And it's kind of coming off as, you know, he's just letting all his thoughts off on one person. He's saying relatable lines like, I open up to this bottle, I open up to this weed. He's saying things that's exponentially relatable to anybody that had to hit the bottle to get rid of the pain, anybody that had to hit the blunt to get rid of the pain, man. Like within that, he just ties everything perfectly at the end with, you know, saying that, you know, I'm not perfect. You know, I do have stains on my linen. You know, I'm not this person that you think I am. You know what I mean? That's not how I'm living. You know, I'm living like you. And that's one of the tracks that really tied in this whole album for me as far as, you know, the concept they were going with and, you know, what they wanted to get across. I think they did a good job of getting all the things that, you know, were laying on their chest off on this project, if that makes any sense. You got a little bit of sprinkles of their come up. You got a little bit of sprinkles of black empowerment. You got a big sprinkle of their outlook on the world and how they view things at this point in time. So I feel like lyrically there was no more ink in the pen for them to put on the page. You know what I mean? But, you know, just as far as stretching their sound, you know, that's what I wanted more of. And I feel like I didn't get much of that in this project. I feel like they played it a little bit safe. You know, just for example, the instrumentals on this project. You know, there were a few instrumentals that were, you know, outside of what they did on Maryland or on even on this project. But, you know, a lot of it was just kind of like the same. It just felt like they had no choice but to use some of the same cadences and flows on a lot of these records because the instrumentals really didn't give them much to work with. You know what I mean? It was pretty much putting them in the box as far as if you could put EARTHGANG in the box. I feel like this was kind of putting them in that prototypical box. My camera died. I will say that EARTHGANG did impress me on the concepts of a lot of these records, the way they're able to tie things together and create a good record. Songs like All Eyes on Me, Black Pearls, waterboyz, you know what I mean, Lie to Me. All those tracks had great titles and great concepts to go along with it. I know I say this a lot, but I do think more female energy on this record right here would have brought a lot of life out of a lot of these records. You know what I mean? I like Johnny Venus on the hooks. I like Venus on the hooks. Don't get me wrong, but I just feel like sometimes you just need to insert a female. Like that Ari Lennox hook. Like, come on now. Me listening to this project all these days and, well, weeks or however long I've been listening to it, you know, I'm surprised more people aren't talking about it because I feel like this is a good project. It's not bad in any stretch of the imagination. It's just, you know, me personally, in my opinion, I thought I would get a little bit more experimentation from Earth Gang, but it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a bad album. It's definitely some joints on here that I fuck with heavy. With this being the official second LP, I'm actually looking forward to see what Cole got up his sleeve for these two. You know, because I do feel like, you know, I'm not even gonna put him in the same lane as an Outkast or, you know, being able to be as big as an Outkast, but I do think they have that aura about them. They do have that certain her about them, not lyrically, but it's just there's certain style that it doesn't match up to anybody else's as far as, you know, you can compare him to anybody else. You know, Dot sometimes sounds like Chance the Rapper. I said that. You know, he still got a little bit of influence of Chance on this, but, you know, he's definitely gotten better at trying to find his own style. And Venus, I feel like Venus is definitely a talented one. You know, him being able to produce, write, you know what I mean? Actually, you know, he was one of the ones that's actually on this album that tied a lot of things together for me. You know what I mean? Even though he went first and a lot of the records, you know, with the chorus, the pre-choruses, that just shows you how much he's good at writing and being able to be the one to cultivate these songs. Because on Mirrorland, I feel like it was more of, you know, Dot and Venus on both, you know, the hooks and the choruses. Well, hooks and choruses the same thing, but you know what I mean? But on the verses, you know, it was kind of half and half. You know, just as far as what I see from them, you know, or, you know, what I've heard from them up until this point, you know, it just seems like, you know, they can go so much further. They can push their sound so much further than what they've done already. I feel like they're still, you know, a little bit afraid to show who they really are on these records. And, you know, I feel like once they get out of that, you know, fear of actually showing us who they really are, they're going to be a dangerous duo. This is one of the groups I'm actually looking forward to see what they do in the future. You know what I mean? Cole, don't do us wrong with these two, man. You know, get them right. I'm mad as shit that, you know, the camera just cut off on me like that. But, you know, it's how this shit go, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with it. But yeah, man, you know, I appreciate all the support. You know, I appreciate all the new subs I got. We hit 100 subs. You know, I know I still ain't got a haircut yet, but it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I just haven't got to the barbershop yet. That's it. I haven't made my way to the barbershop yet, but I'm going to get there. Y'all already know. Let me know what's going on in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about the album. You know, I'm going to be right there with you. You know what I'm saying? I want to have these conversations. You know what I mean? I don't have nobody to talk to music with like that. So I'm talking to y'all. But once again, man, Earth Gang, Ghetto Gods, appreciate y'all. To the next vid. Damn, Benny about to drop. Lucky Day about to drop. Ooh, I'm out.